The Supreme Court today reprimanded the Uttarakhand government for its inaction in the misleading advertisement case against Patanjali Ayurved. The court said that the state licensing authority only woke up and moved against Patanjali Ayurved and its co-founder Baba Ramdev after the court intervened and passed orders. The development comes after Uttarakhand State Licensing Authority suspended license of 14 products of Patanjali. The court once again also pulled up Baba Ramdev promoted company, noting that it was not complying with its orders when Patanjali produced an e-copy of the public apology as opposed to the original records. The court granted one more opportunity to Patanjali to file the original page of each newspaper in which the apology was issued. The next hearing is scheduled for 7th of May. My colleague Ashok Bagaria joining us here. Ashok, court is not going down easy on either Patanjali or on Uttarakhand government.
Yeah, in fact, this matter has been dragging on for almost like 2 months now.
Yeah.
And on every occasion, the Supreme Court has come down very strongly on the contemners, which includes Baba Ramdev, Acharya Balkishan and Patanjali Ayurved. And in fact, they have been pulled very strongly for putting out misleading ads, and more so ever going back on an undertaking they had given to the Supreme Court in November 2023. It was in November 2023 that Patanjali Ayurved gave an undertaking that they will not publish any misleading ads and about the veracity of the medicines produced by it, which claimed to cure a lot of lifestyle disorders like high blood pressure, diabetes, liver disorder, kidney disorders. And despite this undertaking, these ads were being put out by Patanjali Ayurved and its founder Acharya Balkishan and Baba Ramdev. So what really happened was that these kind of advertisements are banned under 2 laws. One is the Drugs and the Cosmetics Act and the Drugs and the Magical Remedies Act. Drugs and the Magical Remedies Act is the law which bans publication of ads or misleading ads which claim magical cure for disorders. So,
which is exactly what Patanjali's been doing.
This is what the government of this is what the Supreme Court of India says, that you are claiming to have medicines for lifestyle disorders, which is not thinkable. It cannot be cured. It's a lifestyle disorder. It's only by changing your lifestyle that you are able to control those diseases. But here is Patanjali, which is claiming that you don't need to do anything. You just need to take these medicines which have been manufactured by us, and all these diseases will magically disappear. So today, what really transpired was that while on one hand Baba Ramdev and team is in the dock, the Supreme Court also has been coming down very strongly on the Uttarakhand State Licensing Authority, which is in charge or which is the nodal authority for controlling these Ayurvedic and Unani medicines. And Supreme Court has called on these authorities to explain that, look, these ads have been coming out for almost a long time, but what have you done to prevent it?
Were you sleeping?
Why were you sleeping? And in fact, today there was an affidavit which was filed by the State Licensing Authority, and the Supreme Court was really surprised to see that after they pulled them up on April 10th, just within a single day, everything in the state was moving, and within one day they were able, not just able to suspend the licenses of 14 products manufactured by Patanjali and Divya Pharmacy, but also were able to file a criminal complaint against Baba Ramdev, Acharya Balkishan and Patanjali Ayurved for putting out this misleading ads. So the Supreme Court said that if you really want to work, you are working with lightning speeds, but when you are dragging your feet, you are dragging it. And we just cannot understand that why have you been in deep slumber for such a long time. You explain what action have you taken before April 10th, because April 10th was the watershed day when Supreme Court came down on the state authorities and said, look, now you are going to explain to us that you have been reposed with this duty, you will have to explain to us that what did you do?
Absolutely.
Why were you sleeping? And
you know, would it be too far-fetched at this point, Ashok, to say that it looks like authorities were in fact hand in glove with Patanjali, because repeated reminders later, 2 months of dragging on this case until April 10th, which was the watershed day, which is when the Supreme Court finally said, stop dragging your feet, act now, is when you see State Licensing Authority actually acting.
well, you are right in a way when you say that the state authorities were hand in glove. That was a prima facie remark made by the Supreme Court also, because when they asked the authorities that what you have done, the court said that it looks that you were in hand in glove with these people. But at the same time, we should not forget that Patanjali, Baba Ramdev, Acharya Balkishan are very influential
Absolutely,
people.
very
Not just in the
powerful.
very powerful people, not just in the state of Uttarakhand, but even in the country. And they have a massive following. And a drug inspector who is the the nodal authority in the district of Haridwar, I doubt if he has the guts to stand up to Baba Ramdev or
Absolutely.
Patanjali and take action. However, despite all said and done, what happens on 12th of April magically after that 10th order is that everybody
They got their house in order.
Yeah, they get their house in order. Everybody springs into action. For licenses are cancelled for 14 products. There is a criminal complaint which is also filed. Everything is happening magically. And Supreme Court said today that they said we are really surprised that once we push and prod you, you suddenly spring to action. But if we don't do anything, you don't do anything. And now they have been given one more opportunity to explain that what did you do before the April 10th order.
Right.
And in fact, the Supreme Court pointed out that there was a complaint from the Prime Minister's office which was forwarded to the Uttarakhand government to act. But despite that, these people did not act.
Right.
And they are at pains to explain why they did not do anything.
Okay. So without trying to actually speculate on what's going to happen in the next hearing, what are the expectations now?
Well, it looks like as far as the first set of contemners are concerned, which is Baba Ramdev, Balkishan and Patanjali Ayurved.
Is their apology accepted?
The court never said it is accepted, but they said they are satisfied with the public apology. They have published in over 300 newspapers. That is
Small one corner, quarter of a page.
Quarter of a page, which has been published. But the court said, made an oral observation today that they are kind of satisfied with the wording of the apology, considering that the apology this time around has the names of Baba Ramdev, Acharya Balkishan and Patanjali Ayurved, number one. So it's expected that the apology will be accepted and the contemners will be let free. But as far as the state authorities are concerned, it looks that the Supreme Court is not going to let them off easily.
Okay.
And another aspect which we have to keep in mind is that the IMA, the Indian Medical Association,
absolutely, huh?
Yeah, it is finding itself into trouble. They actually, what happened was yesterday there was an interview which was given by the IMA president trying to fish in troubled waters, where he commented on the Supreme Court saying that why do allopathic doctors prescribe expensive medicines for patients during the course of their treatment. And the IMA president said that it is unfortunate that the Supreme Court has made such a remark, and the Supreme Court cannot take a broadside view of what we do.
Okay.
And today this was brought to the notice of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that if this is the case, then very serious consequences will hit them.
All right.
So the IMA president is in trouble. Another set of people who might find themselves in trouble in the days to come are FMCG and drug companies. The Supreme Court has also turned the beam on them and is trying to figure out that how to prevent these FMCG and drug companies, or rather how to find a way to prevent them from putting out misleading ads, and if they have put out misleading ads, how to penalize them.
Absolutely. So, larger conversation. Whosoever Supreme Court goes after, whether it's the IMA or Patanjali or FSSAI, it's the customers. We, the consumers, perhaps will be the beneficiaries of it. Now, sticking on with IMA for a second there, because IMA has been taking on this mantle for about 2 years now, since 2022. This was after the COVID cure claims of Patanjali came into being, and IMA woke up and said, you can't really mislead people into thinking that you can cure COVID when we are trying our best to ensure that people get vaccinated. Anything on those COVID cure claims, because the needle hasn't moved really on whether Patanjali accepts that it's lying, because I read that apology. At no place does it say we apologize for claiming that we can cure COVID.
So basically what has happened was that this litigation that is in the Supreme Court right now was brought by the Indian Medical Association, and it was the Indian Medical Association who brought it to the notice of the Supreme Court that, look, this Patanjali Ayurveda is there, and these founders of this Patanjali Ayurveda are involved in giving out misleading impression to people at large, claiming that they have a cure for COVID-19. Such ads should be stopped. They should be prevented, or the authority should be directed by the Supreme Court to take action against Patanjali. But what has really happened, or what has really bothered the Supreme Court, is that COVID-19 is now behind us.
Right.
But what has really bothered the Supreme Court is that there's continuously Patanjali Ayurveda has been putting out ads, misleading ads, claiming cure for lifestyle disorders.
Absolutely.
And this is something...
This is happening just about a few months ago.
Till a few months back. In fact, the last such ad was put out as late as the first week of March. But it was only after the Supreme Court stepped in that all such ads have stopped.
Right.
And now the Supreme Court is saying that, look, get your act together, or we'll come down on you like a ton of bricks.
Absolutely. And 7th of May perhaps is the day to watch out for. That is the date on which perhaps Supreme Court will further deliberate on what to do with Uttarakhand State Licensing Authority and whether it's going to accept the apology filed by Patanjali or not.